Hello everyone, welcome to our next lesson. This week I thought I'd do something about charcoal. Why charcoal? Okay, charcoal is probably the first material ever used to make art. You can imagine a caveman picking up a piece of burnt wood out of his fire and scratching something on the wall of his cave with it. So it's a very primitive way of working, and it's easy to do as well. Charcoal tends to be very quick, very easy, very straightforward, very messy. But never mind. Let's have a quick look at some work by a few famous artists who've used charcoal. This is a Leonardo da Vinci, and he used to use a kind of red chalk, white chalk, and charcoal to do his drawings, and the detail on that is absolutely fabulous. This is by Thomas Gainsborough, and this was a charcoal sketch he did as a preliminary to drawing a proper drawing of his own later on. This is, guess who? It's Vincent van Gogh again. Van Gogh had to use charcoal because sometimes that was the only thing he had around to draw and paint and work with. This is a Henry Moore. Henry Moore was a famous sculptor, but this is Stonehenge that he did as a preliminary to another sculpture that he did. But look at the effort in that. And this is a David Hockney painting or picture, I don't know, of a landscape done again in charcoal. And I like the detail in that. Now, today, lots of people do charcoal sketches. This is a rose that someone's done. Very expressive medium to work with. And again, this next one, portrait, again, very expressive. A lot of people use charcoal as an expressive means of communicating. So they're very good for that sort of thing. So how do you use charcoal? Well, first of all, let me show you some different kinds of tools that you can use to work with charcoal. And I'll work on my desk next to me. Okay? Right, so what is charcoal? Basically, this is a stick of charcoal. It's a piece of willow that's been burnt inside, usually put inside a tin or something like that, and drive off all the oxygen that's in the wood. And it doesn't burn it, it just turns it into a charcoal. You can make it yourself next time you have a barbecue. Stick some willow twigs inside a biscuit tin and leave them to burn inside there, and you'll get your own charcoal cheap and easy. How do you use it? Well, basically, it's just rub it on and then merge it with your finger. Okay, you can try drawing with it. If you can get a tight edge, it's easier to draw with. But I encourage you to use shading in your drawings, and well, that's one kind of charcoal. This one is a block of charcoal, compressed charcoal, and you buy it in a lump like that, and it goes everywhere, and you can work with it like that, and you can get a straight edge to draw with as well. And again, you can blend it. I tend to use my finger a lot. If you use your fingers, it's a little bit of oil on your fingers, the natural oil in your fingers. So when you're working with charcoal, try not to go away and wash your hands because they're dirty. Just leave it on, because the oil helps to spread it out. When I was at art college, you'd always tell the people who'd be working with charcoal because they had a big Hitler moustache as well. Okay, now the other thing you can buy are these things. These are charcoal pencils. I have a running battle with these. They're very, very good to use. Make no mistake, you get a really good fine line with them, which is excellent. And it's better to use these for detailed work. But if you drop this, as I constantly do, the charcoal shatters all the way along the edge inside there. And then when you come to sharpen it, it just falls apart and it's useless. So if you're going to use charcoal pencils, keep them in a box. Don't leave them lying around, and certainly never drop them. And they come in various sizes too. This is a darker one, slightly darker than that one. I don't know, it must be a different kind of wood or something. But it blends just the same with your finger. You can do that with it. Okay. Alongside charcoal, a lot of people use chalk or a China graph pencil. And this works the same way. It gives you a white to go into the charcoal. Can you see? Quite useful. Chalk is just as good, but a China graph pencil, again, you've got to be very careful with those because they too are very fragile and they shatter easily. Now, I use my finger for blending all the time, but you can buy these things. Here we are. These are blenders. They're made actually for pastel work, but they work just as well for charcoal, and you use them like that. And because it's got a sharp point on it, you can get into do very fine detail You can sometimes you can wet the end of it, and then that'll help you get more detail in as well. The other tool you really need is an eraser or a rubber. Now, this is one I use regularly for charcoal, and as you can see, it's filthy, dirty, messy. But you use it like that to clear out. Now, I've lent it to somebody, a putty rubber, which you could bend and shape to the point that you want, and then clear off the bits of charcoal that you wanted to get rid of. But I can't find it anywhere. But a putty rubber is just like this, only it molds into shape. It's rather like a piece of blue tack, if you like. But you can use almost anything for blending. I have used these cotton wool buds before now. Anything works. The other thing you can do is you can put a piece of masking tape down. Now, if you're going to use masking tape, make sure you've got it de-sticky before you use it, because if you pull it off, it tends to tear the paper as well, so don't do that. Okay, and then you just put the charcoal on there. Some of it can go on the paper, it doesn't matter. And then when you take that off carefully, you get a nice straight edge, and then you can work with that and get curves and bits and pieces like that. Now, this piece of paper here is just an ordinary piece of paper off my printer, but what you should use really is a piece of paper that's rough, that's got some sort of what we call tooth to it. Now, this is watercolour paper, and if I just go over that slightly, can you see the way the bits that are standing up are catching? The tooth is catching the charcoal, and the bit underneath isn't. And when I come to blend it with my finger, you can see that's how it works. So what I would do, if you get a few pieces of paper, get a few lumps of charcoal, different things, experiment, doodle, mess about. Don't start off trying to do a perfect drawing straight away. See what you can do with it. Get the feel of it first of all. Get that stage over and done with so you can do it. I use brushes as well to blend with. These work quite well. And when you're finished, when it's all done and you've got your perfect picture, don't leave it. You've got to then treat it with this stuff. This is pastel fixative, and it just sprays on like that, and it stops the charcoal falling off the paper. Be careful with this stuff. Don't do it inside. I've just done it inside. Don't do it inside where other people are, because some people with asthma get really badly affected by this. If you haven't got pastel fixative, this is quite expensive to buy. Lasts for ages, but it's expensive. You can use hairspray. That's if you want your paintings to smell beautiful. You can use that. Okay, so that's basically how charcoal works. Now let's see. I've got a young lady here. Who's going to show you how to do a picture using charcoal. Okay, she's going to draw a tree trunk, so let her get on with it because she's far better than me. Here we go. First of all, she's using this piece of paper to sketch with, and she's already drawn some lines there, some little sketches to help her. I'm using a piece of willow charcoal, just basically on its edge, to get the details of the tree trunking first. Okay, I'll let her carry on rather than listen to my voice wittering on about nothing. I'll let her carry on painting. This, of course, is taken from a YouTube demonstration, and if I get a chance, I'll put that link up on the website for you to see. And now she's swapping to a pencil, sometimes using a graphite stick or just an ordinary pencil, just to shade in the background as well. So you can work with both. You can work with charcoal and a pencil at the same time. This is a graphite stick. These graphite sticks come in shades just like pencils do, up to 5H, I think, and down to 1B. And now she's using just the end of a thicker piece of stick. And then we have the first stage, and I missed her doing it. Sorry. Let's see. Let her carry on now. Now this is a charcoal pencil she's using. Just to get some more detail in there. Heighten the shadows. And she ends up with this picture here, which I think is very good. That's really lovely. Nice picture of a tree trunk with all the grass and flowers and leaves around the bottom of it. I'm sure you could have a go at that. I'm sure you could find a tree trunk or some picture of one, or maybe one in your garden. You could just do the tree trunk and see if you can get the texture of the bark, the texture of the plants around it, and the depth of the colour. That'd be good fun to do. Okay? Have fun. Nice happy painting. See you soon, I hope.